Hello again, welcome back to the Rabbitat Homestead. My name's Ashley. So today I wanted to go over eggs. We just recently got rid of our egg layers and switched over to quail. And we're actually going to stop doing chickens altogether for eggs and meat. We're going to be processing our very last batch of broilers in the coming weeks. And we're switching over to strictly quail and rabbits because rabbits have worked really well for us. They're so much easier to raise than chickens and to process. And we've never done quail before, but we have started and we've already got a setup for them. All set up for them, so we're looking forward to doing quail, and we definitely think that that is going to be a better option for us going forward. So since we don't have egg layers anymore, we're going to be mostly using our quail eggs, but there might be an occasional time where we want some chicken eggs. So I just wanted to go over the different options that you can find at the grocery store. And what the best eggs are for you to buy. Now I'm going to say right off the bat, the best eggs for you to buy are your local farmer or homesteader's eggs. You want to buy local and those are the freshest eggs that you can get. Those are the best eggs and the healthiest eggs that you can get. But if you don't have that option, then the next step would be your local grocery store. Now, I wanted to go over a few things about the different types of eggs that you can buy at the grocery store. There's so many different options, and I just kind of wanted to share a little bit of my knowledge on what I know about the different options. So there's quite a few options. You have the cheapest eggs you can buy. You have cage-free eggs, free-range eggs, organic, and pasture-raised organic. So the cheapest eggs you can buy, they are usually raised in a big warehouse inside of cages. They never see the light of day, they don't forage, and all they eat is usually feed, vegetarian feed. So those are the lowest, they have the lowest nutritional value and they are the cheapest. And the chickens obviously aren't raised in the best conditions. The next best option is cage-free eggs. Now you'll see on most egg cartons now, they all say cage-free. Now what does that mean? Well, it means that typically they're going to be in a large warehouse and they're just not going to be in cages. They're all going to be kind of crowded together inside of a large warehouse, and these chickens never see the light of day. They don't get to forage, and they eat the same thing that your cheapest eggs would get. So really, these are the same eggs. There's no difference between the nutritional value at all. It's just the way the chickens are raised. One's caged and one's not, but they're in the same type of setting, and they're just all they're eating is feed. And like I said, they don't get sunlight, they don't get to forage, and they don't get to practice those natural chicken behaviors. Now the next one is free range. Now free range, when you see that on a carton, I'm going to call it a gimmick. So it's kind of a marketing gimmick. And free range, what does that mean? Well, what comes to mind is chickens free ranging in a yard or on a farm. And, you know, that's what comes to mind when you hear the word free range. But in all reality, when it says free range on a carton, usually what that means is that they are still raised in a large warehouse, and they're free-ranging around in the warehouse, but they're still going to be cluttered together with not much space, and they're going to have access to the outside. And what this means is there's going to be hundreds of birds and thousands of birds, and they're going to be in this big warehouse. And on the very end of the warehouse, there's going to be like a tiny little opening, and a chicken can walk out and, you know, look around and then walk back in. It's access to the outside, but a very small percentage of them, of those birds, actually get to walk out in that small area. So yes, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that all of these eggs, the cheapest, the caged eggs, the cage-free eggs, and the free range, they're all the same eggs and they all have the same nutritional value. There's no difference other than the way the chickens are being raised. I'd also go ahead and say cage-free and free range are being raised exactly the same. There's really no difference between these eggs except for, like I said, the way they're being raised. And they're eating the same thing. None of these are eating bugs. Maybe 5% of the birds that are free-ranged with this carton get maybe a bug outside. You know, they don't really get to free range. It's just kind of a gimmick they use to make you feel better about buying those eggs. So the next option, and this is something that I fell for a long time, back before I had egg layers, I would buy just organic eggs. I would just look for the organic seal and I'd buy organic eggs, and that's what I felt good buying. So these say organic cage-free eggs. And again, so these eggs, the chickens eat strictly organic feed. Just because it says organic does not mean that these chickens were pasture raised or free ranged or anything like that. These chickens very well could have been, like I said, these chickens are raised in a large warehouse, never having access to sunlight or the outdoors or foraging or practicing the natural chicken behaviors. So really the only benefit to buying organic eggs is the fact that they eat organic feed. So again, these eggs can go in the same category as these four. Now, I'm not saying they're all exactly the same, but they are in a way. I mean, these eggs really have the same nutritional value. You know, organic eggs are obviously without pesticides, so those are going to be the best ones out of these three. But the chickens are still going to be raised in a large warehouse, no sunlight, no foraging, nothing like that. So you're basically getting the same quality of egg in all of these. The only difference is you're paying more than the cheaper ones, and sure, the cheapest ones, they're caged, and these ones are cage-free, which is a little better, but in all reality, you're getting the same egg. And then the free range is raised just like the cage-free, except for they have access to the outdoors, which really doesn't amount to much. And then the organic eggs, they are raised just like these two, I should say, because these guys are raised in cages, but nevertheless, you're basically getting the same quality of egg, except for these are organic and there's no pesticides in their feed. Now let's talk about what you want to look for, the healthiest eggs that you can get. So you want to look for a pasture-raised, certified humane eggs. I like to go for organic, but regardless of whether it's organic or not, pasture-raised, certified, humane is the best eggs that you can buy. My opinion is for them to be organic. I think those are the best eggs, but you could get them organic or non-organic, and they're still good for you. So pasture-raised eggs, they have to have at least 108 square feet per bird. And they are raised outside in the sunlight. They're raised like they would be on a farm. They get to practice their natural chicken behaviors. They get to dust bathe. They get to flap their wings. They get to forage, and they get to do all the things that chickens should be doing. So these are the eggs that I usually opt to get when I go to the grocery store and I need them. This is what I would get. And these are all brown eggs, and they all pretty much look the same. These are a lot darker, but what you want to look for is pasture raised, not pasteurized. Pasteurized eggs. In order to sell eggs on the market, they have to be pasteurized. So when they put that on the carton as a benefit, it's really a necessity. They have to be pasteurized in order for them to be sold on the market. In large stores and such. Obviously, when you buy farm eggs from your neighbor or local farm or homestead, they're not going to be pasteurized. But selling in a large store, they have to be pasteurized. So yes, pasture-raised eggs. They'll have 108 square feet of space to roam. This is the best that you can buy in a store setting. Now, the purpose of my channel and the purpose of my lifestyle is to get away from the grocery store as much as I can and to become as self-reliant as I can and to learn the skills that I think are important for, survival. So I like to have my family do things more for them ourselves. So this isn't something that I buy a lot. So let's be clear, like I said at the beginning, the best eggs to buy are eggs from your local farm or homestead. We have a small little store in our town here, and they sell a local farmer's eggs in that store. So I just go there and I'm able to buy farm fresh eggs in our local store. And it's just a small little mom and pop store that we buy them from. And that's what I usually do. Our quail aren't producing yet, but it doesn't take long for quail to start producing eggs. So before too long, we'll have plenty of quail eggs to eat, and we won't be using chicken eggs as much. But every once in a while, I definitely can see myself needing some eggs, some chicken eggs. So in the future, the first place I go to is the mom and pop store. But if I ever needed to, I could also get pasture-raised, organic, certified humane chicken eggs from the grocery store. So the moral of the story is these eggs are pretty much the same. They have a few differences, but the chickens, the nutritional value is the same. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention is the more nutritional value that an egg has, the darker the yolk is. The less nutritional value, the lighter the yolk is. Now, if you have chickens on your homestead, or you start raising them, you'll notice when you crack the egg, the yolk will be much darker than what you're used to if you would typically buy eggs from the grocery store. Now, when chickens have access to the outdoors and they have access and they get to eat bugs and things that chickens are supposed to eat, they'll have a very dark yolk. Our chickens here had a very dark yolk because we let them free range, and they'd, forage and eat bugs and small little pebbles, and they dust bathe and stuff like that. So the producers of these eggs have been able to buy feed that actually alters the color of the yolk. They've bought in feed that kind of has this synthetic color where when the chicken eats it, it darkens up their yolk to kind of trick the consumer, I guess, for lack of better words, and you can't really tell the difference. Well, just out of curiosity, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to crack all these eggs, and I want to see the difference between each one. I have a feeling, I'm going to go ahead and predict that all 4 of these eggs, the caged, cage-free, free-range, and organic, certified organic, are going to have the same color yolk. And I'm going to bet that these pasture-raised, organic, certified humane eggs are going to be darker than these 4. So let's go ahead and crack these and see the difference. Okay, so let's start with the caged eggs first, the cheapest ones. All right, so there's the cheapest ones, very light yolk. These are going to be the caged-free eggs. Exactly the same. This is the caged, this is the cage-free, exactly the same egg. Now, this is going to be the free-ranged egg. All right, so caged, okay, so caged, caged-free, and free-range. Now, let's crack an organic egg. All right, so we got caged, caged-free, free-range, and organic. Do you see a difference at all? Because I don't. Now, we're going to crack a pasture-raised, certified humane, organic egg. Now, you tell me, can you pick out the pasture-raised, certified organic egg? Right there. Now, can you tell me the difference between these 4 eggs and tell me which one is caged, cage-free, free-range, or organic? Because I can't tell the difference, but I can tell the difference with the pasture-raised, certified organic, certified humane egg. So next time you go to the grocery store, if you do, definitely go for the pasture-raised, certified organic and certified humane. All right, so the moral of this video is just to kind of show you that no matter what the carton says, you're basically getting the same egg. It's just a matter of how the chicken is raised, and like I said, free range is really just a gimmick on an egg carton. It doesn't mean a whole lot. And organic is great. They get organic feed, but they're still being raised the same as the other 3. With just a few minor differences. So if you ever do need to buy eggs from the grocery store, definitely go with pasture-raised, certified humane, organic eggs. They don't have to be organic. You just really want to focus on the pasture-raised, certified humane. But I like to go for the organic as well. Now, those eggs they're going to be outside getting a lot of their feed, a lot of their nutrition from foraging outside, but they're going to have a supplemental feed, and that's going to be an organic feed if they are certified organic. So of course, try to be as self-sufficient as you can. Usually when people start homesteading, the first thing that they get is chickens, which is the case for me and the case for a lot of people. And I've learned a lot, but now my husband and I have decided to move on from chickens, and we've kind of figured out what's best for our homestead and what works for us. And it really just depends on what you have going on in your homestead, on what type of animals work best for you. For me, we went away from chickens. Now we have quail, and I haven't showed you my quail yet, but I will definitely show you in this video. They're pretty cool birds, and they're growing very fast. They're definitely a lot smaller than chicks, and we've been learning a lot since we brought them home. So we'll be getting quail eggs before we know it. And in the meantime, if we ever do feel like or need chicken eggs, we'll definitely go to our mom and pop store in town and buy the farm fresh eggs that they have there. And of course, always go to your local farm or homestead and buy farm fresh eggs. Those are the most nutritious and best eggs that you can buy. So support your local homestead or do it yourself. I will say that raising your own chickens is not as cost effective unless you do let them forage a lot and you just kind of supplement their feed. But for us, we did that, and it's not cost effective. It's more so just doing it yourself, seeing where your food comes from. And, you know, raising your own food is why we did it. All right, well, I just wanted to share a little bit of my knowledge about the different egg options that you see at stores in comparison to, you know, your local farm fresh eggs. And I hope you were able to take a little bit away from this. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and if you enjoy our videos, definitely hit the like button and subscribe. That would help us out so much. And in the meantime, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.